Sir, meeting join பண்ணுங்க சார். அப்படியே நான் சொல்றேன். ஓகே, நோ ப்ராப்ளம்.
Ram Mohan sir.
Can we start, sir? Ram Mohan sir.
Sir, 2 minutes, sir. Our associate dean sir is joining. 2 minutes.
Hello.
Hello.
అందరూ చదువుకోండి.
Madam, Kalesara sir, Dr. Kalesara has joined, no? Madam?
Not yet, I think, sir.
You try to check with him. He is unable to join, it seems. There is a problem.
Is it? I have shared the link.
Yeah, I have shared the link already. Kindly share the link again.
No. I have already shared, sir. So just by clicking on that, he will be able to join.
Can we start, sir?
One second, sir. Sir, we are asking our associate team to join. 1 second.
Okay.
Can you wait for 2 minutes, sir. 2 minutes.
Sir, he's joining, sir. Just 2 minutes.
Joined, huh? Okay.
No. 2 minutes. He will be joining. He called just now. Sir, Kalarasan sir has joined. I'll start the
Yeah.
session. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, all. On behalf of Presidency University and Department of Computer Science and Engineering, I welcome you all for today's webinar session on natural language processing, organized under IEEE student branch. Firstly, I welcome today's resource person, Dr. P. Tyagarajan sir, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Government of India. So I welcome key official Dr. Kalairasan sir, Associate Dean, CSC. Now I request Dr. Kalairasan sir to address participants.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Preeti. Thank you for your inviting me for to address. So first of all, I thank the guest speaker today, Dr. P. Tyagarajan, Associate Professor from Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Government of India. Welcome you, sir, on behalf of CSC
Thank you.
Department. Once again, I welcome the guest speaker. So first of all, I also thank the speaker to spending his valuable time with us today. So while coming to the topic NLP, I think there are more participants are joining. I know that the faculty from our internal faculty, also the external faculty, the interest they are showing is very much appreciated because that is the current trend. Because when you go for any new age topics or new age program, you are AI or deep learning, machine learning, the NLP, natural language processing is very much important because we are making the machine to think like a human being. So automatically the machine have to understand that whatever the natural language, whether English or Canada or Tamil or whatever it is. So that is the one, this is the time of need, like this type of a webinar. So really I appreciate the participant from our faculty team, also the external faculty. To make this make it as an interactive session. I think our the speaker will tell his plan, also the presentation. So this is my request to make it as interactive, and you can ask any doubt or whatever it is that make it useful because you have to convey this to the student. So that is the ultimate aim. Final objective is we have to gather the knowledge from other outside sources like Dr. Tyagarajan. Then we have to deliver to our students. So that is the ultimate aim. Also, we are enriching our knowledge as a faculty community in new trends. So that is the one thing. I know that many faculties are having classes here and there, but please spare this your valuable time with this. Also, I appreciate our FDP team, Mr. Mujay, Preeti, also Ram Mogan. He's initiated this task. So I thank the Professor Radha Ram Mogan. Is there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm very much aware.
Yeah. Yeah. So congratulate
Thank
for
you.
this
Thank you, sir.
initiative. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So once again, I thank to call me as a just a introductory speech. Once again, welcome the guest speaker, Mr. Dr. Tyagarajan, and thank you, sir. Thank you. Once again,
Thank
welcome. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kalairasan sir,
Please.
for your
Yeah.
motivational words. Now I request Dr. Radharam Mohan sir to introduce today's resource person.
Thank you very much, Ms. Preeti. Thank you very much. Dr. Tyagarajan is known to me since a decade, and yeah, we have been associated with both academic and research activities and he was very supportive to me in almost all the academic related activities since long time. And he was previously working in he was in Pondicherry Central University, and now recently has joined as an associate professor and head of computer science in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth and Development. He has got a great caliber in research and total citations of around 167, and his H&X is 8. He has got a very wide area of expertise actually in research, say like machine learning, big data analytics, IoT, steganography, cryptography, security aspects, and smart cities, all these things. He has completed his PhD in Pondicherry Central University and Masters in Analytics. And he's a postdoctorate. He's a postdoctorate in the Department of Atomic Energy. That's the greatest contribution to the research community has done. And still he is doing his second PhD, and he's going on since. And he's got 15 years of industry research and teaching experience, and he has filed a lot of patents, and he is having good, good amount of awards as a young scientist fellow by Tamil Nadu State Council of Science and Technology in the year 2020. He was also awarded postdoctoral fellowship in the Department of Atomic Energy in Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, Kalpakam. He has got Best Technical Award in Harrison Technology, MNC company, and is involved in almost all the activities, and he is also a reviewer for IEEE, being a IEEE function today. So he is also a reviewer for prestigious journals such as IEEE Signal Processing Letters and other electrical engineering related journals. And also he is in Elsevier, Springer as a reviewer. So he has done a lot of projects, especially in IUCD, ICT integration, teaching and learning education in India, and also ICSSR, development and implementation of e-learning in discrete mathematics. Contribution to academic education community is also, he has done a great job. And in fact, I'm very much privileged to introduce him as a guest speaker, and I'm very thankful to him to give a session on NLP today, and he has accepted in spite of a lot of, he's having a busy schedule in his work today, and in spite of that, he has agreed and he is coming. Thank you very much, sir, for coming for the presentation. And I welcome all the audience and take the opportunity of having whatever queries you are having, kindly take up the queries as our associate dean said. Utilize this opportunity to query on NLP, and so that we'll be able to have enhanced inputs from our guest speaker. Thank you very much, Dr. Tyagarajan. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalayaran sir, Dr. Radha Ramohan sir, and Dr. Preeti ma'am for such a nice welcoming, warm welcome and the introduction about me. Thank you. So let me share the presentation. Hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you so much. So for the next 1 hour or 50 minutes, maybe we are going to look on the natural language processing. So the agenda of this presentation, I should discuss with Radha Ramohan sir. It is a majority of the students will be attending. So my agenda is to introduce what is NLP, the basic steps in NLP, and also discuss some of the applications. And so target audiences should be the UG and PG students. So this is the outline of my talk. We're going to discuss in detail about introduction, the preliminary terminology which is involved in the natural language processing. What are the various NLP steps? Broad applications, what are the tools available, and why NLP is hard. And at the end, we have assignment for the participants. So this is my habit of routine presentation. So I will be having, it's like mutual learning process. You learn something from me, I will learn something from you. So I request the participants to have a keen observation on the presentation. There is an assignment. So you have to work on quickly for 5 to 7 minutes. Then you have to respond for me on the assignment and the conclusion and the references. So natural language processing. So before going to that, let us discuss how people can understand, how people can communicate in general. Any response from the participants? How generally we try to convey things? Students, you were there?
Normally, we use our own regional languages wherever we are.
Exactly. We use our regional languages. But then what are the rules of communication then? If you have a thought and you want to share to others?
We try to formulate ourselves with whom we are talking, how we are, what we have to convey, and we just put our thoughts there.
Exactly. The first primary thing is that you have to make sure that what is the mode of communication, whether it should be in English, either it should be in Tamil or it should be in Kannada, so that the language, the mode of communication should be, the medium of communication should be easily understandable for the both sender and the receiver. So if I speak in English, I should make sure that you are all well versed in English. Then the medium of communication starts in the English language. So the first thing is that you should have a common medium, like which language you should use, so that the other parties, component parties, can able to understand things and they can able to conceive or receive the concept which you share to them, and then they will reciprocate it by asking some questions or some clarifications. So like humans talks verbally with the medium of languages, we can understand, having known the basic understanding of the languages, we people will able to understand what the opponent is trying to communicate. But how the computer can understand? For example, like Alexa. You know Alexa, right? How many of you people are using it? Alexa. So whatever you
Yes,
say
sir.
to Alexa,
Yeah.
you ask Alexa to play a song, and suddenly you ask him to stop the song. So what does it happen? So we talk to a computer. The computer can able to understand what you are communicating, and then it will act based on your command. If I say, Alexa, play a song from a movie, then Alexa will try to understand what I'm trying to say, and then he will play a song according to my command. So this way of how a system or a computer can able to understand what humans communicate verbally and then act upon it is all about natural language processing. Like how humans can communicate. Like I talked to Radharam Mohan sir, tomorrow we'll have a talk on NLP. So he will understand and he will fix in arrange a schedule like this to have a talk. Similarly, how a computer can understand what human speaks, then a whole process of understanding what human talks is known as natural language processing. So NLP is the ability of a computer program to understand human language and it is spoken. It generally will, when it is also about whatever you write, the computer can also understand. But generally in NLP definition, it comes like as and when the human speaks, the computer has to understand, it has to then operate on the instruction is given by the human. So if you look at this NLP, it is falling under the artificial intelligence umbrella. So in order to the system to understand the language, the computer should first have basic understanding about the language in which the user is going to communicate. So the uniqueness in the language learning makes it distinct from other forms of learning in artificial intelligence. So the major concern is to make computer understand the natural language. The natural language is like any language you speak, Tamil, English, any language is called as a natural language. So in this word of NLP, this processing is very, very important. So natural language is not any language is called natural language. And processing, when you attach the term processing, that comes the role of the computer and the modeling. There comes the NLP steps. So this processing is a very, very crucial word, which will enable the command which is giving instruction by the, when it enable the instruction which is given by the human beings to decipher as such that it will be understandable by the computer. So generally, how humans can understand, like human cognition uses inbuilt socio-cultural context and knowledge about the world to learn the language. So if you take about how human communicate, there are many things implied. There will be sarcasm, and there will be some sentence which is oriented towards the context. For example, imagine that I am going to the bank. If I say the statement, I'm going to the bank. So generally what people will think if I say I'm going to the bank, it is a money transaction place where the money will be either deposit or you will withdraw some amount. That we will call as a bank, but it will always refer to the context. Imagine that I'm staying somewhere near to the dam or river, And if I say if I'm going to the bank, the context is different. Since I'm staying near the river and I say if I'm going to the bank, it may be a river bank. Okay, so human language is always with respect to the context, and that need not be explicitly mentioned. Based on the context, people will understand what bank I'm going. But how the computer will able to understand now, it will able to differentiate between the context meaning. So that's the biggest challenge, another challenge. So, it's always, if the human communication is always contextual. And the mother tongue is a language which should develop our social cultural context. And with the context which we develop by this is utilized in learning other languages. And to make the correct sense of what we are talking, we make use of knowledge about the world in crossing the sentence. As I say, many of the things in human communications will always respect to the context. And bringing this contextual thing in the natural language processing is very, very important. If you don't bring the context awareness in the NLP, then the meaning will be wrongly interpreted by the system. So that caution has to be taken care of while we're implementing this NLP. So before going to the detailed steps of NLP, we should learn some of the terminologies which is associated with this natural language processing. So I will just quickly go through these terminologies. If you want, you can please make a note of it. Phonology. So it concerns how the words are related to the sounds that realize them. Next is morphology. It concerns how the words are constructed from more basic meaning units called morphemes. A morpheme is a primitive unit of a meaning in a language. Next is syntax. It concerns how can we put together to form a correct sentence. How can we put together words so that we can form the correct sentence? And determines what structural role each word plays in the sentence on what phrases are subparts of other phrases. Next, we have semantics. Semantics always concerns with meaning of the words. And when these words are combined, it will be forming meaning of a sentence. Next, we have pragmatics. So pragmatics is always deals with how sentences are used in different situations and how we can interrupt the sentence based on the situations, pragmatics. Next, we have discourse. It concerns how immediately the preceding sentence affects the interpretation of the next sentence. So if you have a passage, I cannot read a sentence in between from the passage. Then if you want to say the meaning, then it may be right or it may not be right. So to understand the whole essence of the sentence, we have to read the complete passage as complete page so that it will give a correct figure of what the sentence is talking about. The discourse always deals with how the preceding sentences affect the interpretation of the next sentence. Next, world knowledge. It includes general knowledge about the world, what each language user must know about the other's beliefs and goals. So these are some of the terminologies that you should know when you're dealing with the natural language processing, like phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, discourse, and the world knowledge. Next, we're going to see some of the very important steps that this natural language processing undergoes. First, we have the lexical analysis. Next, we have syntactic analysis. Next, we have semantic analysis. Fourth step is discourse integration. And fourth step is pragmatic analysis. We'll discuss in detail about what is lexical analysis. So in lexical analysis, this is what any NLP problem, if you take, these are the 5 standard steps that it will go through. First, we can take this lexical analysis. It involves identifying and analyzing the structure of the words. So what is lexicon in general? What is lexicon? What is lexicon you mean in general English?
Maybe it's grammatical errors or what we are thinking.
No,
Lexical.
it's a dictionary. Actually, lexicon means it's a dictionary.
Okay.
Okay. So what you do in lexical analysis is that you will take a big passage, you will break that into paragraph, and again you will break the paragraph into sentence, and sentence you will break this into words. This is what you will do in lexical analysis. You take a big passage, break them into paragraph into sentence, and sentence into words. That is what you'll do in the lexical analysis. Next, you will do the syntactic analysis. What does the syntactic analysis do? Just now we have seen the terminologies we have discussed. What is syntax? Syntactically, what we will do, we will check whether the words are arranged correctly in a language to give a meaning. This is very, very important. This syntax analysis is very different for different languages. For Tamil, it is different. For Kannada, it is different. For English, it is different. For English, generally, SVO, subject, verb, and object. But it is different in Tamil. And of course, I believe that it will be different in Kannada too. Each and every language will have different framing of sentences, different way of framing the sentences. So if we develop the NLP in Tamil, then we have to define the syntactic in such a way that that is acceptable for understanding by in that languages. So based on the language, we'll define this syntactic analysis. If it is English, then it should be a different syntactic analysis should be done. If it is Tamil, it should be a different syntactic analysis. So what does it do in syntactic analysis? That if you take a sentence, it will just check whether the sentence formation is correct with respect to the language. I cannot define the syntactic analysis to be universe. Based on the language, it differs. So if it is English, then we have to develop a syntactic analysis part such that it will check in English whether the sentence is acceptable or not. For example, if I say a boy goes to school, if we give the sentence and that comes to the syntactic analysis, then the sentence will be rejected by this portion because it is not grammatically correct. Okay, the school goes to boy is rejected by the English syntactic analyzer. So Tamil will be different and Kannada will be different. So in syntactic analysis, we mainly concentrate about the sentence formation. The third comes the semantic analysis. So here what we'll do, once we check whether the sentence formation is correct according to the language, in semantic analysis, we will check whether the sentence is giving the correct meaning or not, whether it draws the exact meaning, whether the meaning can be extracted from the sentence or not. So that will be done in the semantic analysis. So this text is checked for meaningfulness. And for example, if we take a text called a hot ice cream, so generally we will not have this sentence called hot. This is quite meaningless. Hot ice cream is quite meaningless. So if we encounter those kind of things, then the semantic analysis will discard those kind of phrases in the languages. Next, we have the discourse integration. So the meaning of any sentence depends on upon the meaning of the sentence just before it. In addition, it also brings about the meaning of immediately succeeding sentences. As I say, in discourse, if you look at the term discourse, the same thing. The terminologies we discussed in discourse, the same thing goes here, discourse integration. So where before understanding the meaning of a particular sentence, we have to know the whole sentences around the sentence for which we are trying to derive the meaning, so that we have to read the entire passage, then we have to convey what the meaning is all about. Next, we have the pragmatic analysis. So pragmatic analysis, what is pragmatic? We have already discussed in the terminologies. Contains how the sentence are used in different situations and how it affects the interpretation of the sentences. So that is the last part of NLP. The first is lexical analysis. Next is syntactic, next semantic, discourse integration, and we have pragmatic analysis. Is that clear? So any NLP problem, if you take, these are the 5 steps that will be followed for sure to decrypt the problem, to give solution for the problem. Can I proceed? Hello, can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for example, I am taking a sentence like this: a dog is chasing a boy on the playground. So I have done 3 phases of NLP is given here. What are the phases of NLP which is portrayed in this diagram? Can anyone able to share me? 3 phases have been discussed. What is the first phase? What is the first phase? What is the first phase in NLP?
Lexical analysis.
Exactly, lexical analysis. What does it do? It breaks a paragraph into sentence and sentences into words. So I have a sentence here: the dog is chasing a boy on the playground. So in lexical analysis, what you will do? You will just break the sentence into words. Okay. Second one. What is the second phase of NLP? What is the second phase of NLP? Please go to the slide and say me. What is the second phase of NLP? Parsing, syntactic analysis. It will now determine each and every word, whether it is noun, determinant, or auxiliary. So if you see here, I'm just checking whether the sentence formation is correct or not. By constructing the parse tree, I will check whether the sentence formation is correct in English. So that is called syntactic analysis. What is the third one in NLP? Third phase in NLP? It is semantic analysis. It will just check whether the sentence is conveying the correct meaning or not. So all these three phases have been portrayed in this diagram to give a good understanding. So for all these things, you may ask me how a system will break the sentence into words, and who will do this semantic analysis, who will do this syntactic analysis. So for all these things, we have the packages in Python. So Python is a very, very powerful language, which has a lot of tools for NLP. And why Python is so popular? Can anyone tell me? Have you learned Python? Whether you have any course in Python, I hope you will have a course in Python. So why Python is most preferred? Any idea?
So it has a big community.
Okay, it's a good answer. Yes.
Open source.
Yes. Can you please tell your name?
Jamil Ahmed.
Jamil.
Jamil.
Okay. Jamil, please. Yeah. Do you know when the Python was coming to life? When
I
it
think
was
92.
1990, and Guido van Rizon is the one who introduced the Python. It is about 3 decades more, and still it is popular. So what is the reason behind it? 3 decades is a very long time in computer science, right? In computer science, 1 year itself is too old. Do you agree with me? If you take a computer science syllabus which we studied in MSc long back in 2007, it is obsolete now. What you're studying today will be obsolete in next 4 years, because it's a very dynamic field. Though computer science is very dynamic, Python has been 3 decades old language. Still, it is very hot, and it has been there is a huge demand in industry. Why? If you take mathematics, very few new divisions will be included in the component, but the subject will be the same. Whereas our field is very different, and it is very dynamic, and you have to live up to the expectations of the industry. So though our field is so dynamic, how and why Python is so popular?
So one more reason is that it has got a lot of libraries.
Exactly. So in order to be popular, imagine though it is a more than 3 decades old language, it always meets the expectation of the researcher. It always meets the expectation of the current research which is going on in the computer science. You name NLP, we have a package in Python. You learn machine learning, we have a package in Python. You have deep learning, which is very recent trend in computer science, when many of the problems are being working on this deep learning. We have a package in Python. So updation is the only keyword for success, though it is more than 3 decades old language. The Python meets the expectations of the industrialist. So as said by Jamil, there is an open source community, which is group of people is working on for the Python development. So as and when there is a need for the new things in Python, they have immediately library over there. And Python is very rich in NLP libraries. For all these things, breaking sentence into paragraph into sentence into words, and doing the syntactic analysis, doing the semantic analysis. For all these things, we have the packages in Python. If you said simply use that, then your job will be done. But you should know where to use it and which package is available for that. If you know that, that will be sufficient. So I will play the video the last after discussing the applications. So where are the places we'll use this NLP? Now I have given you an outline about what is NLP and what are the phases and what are the terminologies involved in NLP. I'd like to ask you, we'll try to discuss some of the applications of this NLP. So question answering system is one where we'll use this NLP. For example, every day now internet has become one of the basic needs of human life. Without internet, it is very impossible to live even for an hour. Somewhere or other, we depend on the internet for the want of information or for the sake of seeking the information. So the most predominant application is that question answering system. So we use Google, right? So whatever you type in the Google, and Google will throw the results. And how Google can able to get the exact result or the desired results from the thousands of web pages. For that, we use this NLP. So for example, I said, what are the causes of water pollution? If I give this in 0.70 seconds, I will get 10 pages results for the search which are being entered in the Google search box. I'll be having many results ranked in page number 1 to 10, and furthermore, based on the topic which you search. For this, we use again the NLP. Then second is that information extraction. So what is information extraction? Summary, abstract. Abstract. What is an abstract? Imagine you read a research paper. Every research paper will have an abstract. An abstract is nothing but essence of the research paper. If we take any research paper, it will run 2 pages, to 10 to 12 pages, 10 to 15 pages. This abstract is nothing but essence of all the 12 pages is called as an abstract. So, like, for example, I have a passage like May 1995, Atlanta, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is the front line of world's largest response to the deadly Ebola epidemic in Zaire. It is finding itself hard pressed to cope with the crisis. It's a big paragraph. So I just want to know what are the key informations in the paragraph. So again, if you want to find the key information in the paragraph, then again you have to use this natural language processing, so which will extract the meaningful information from the passage. So if you apply the information extraction, you'll get a table like this: date, disease name, and location where it has been spread. So yet another application of this NLP is information extraction. Next, sentiment analysis. So nowadays, just now the Puja holiday, Big Billion Days has been over, and again it will be opening sometime this week or next week for the Diwali sale. Big Billion Days will be open in Flipkart and Amazon. So what is the general way by which you will purchase a product in these e-commerce sites? Before purchasing any product, we'll try to find out the reviews. Am I right? How many of you look at the reviews before purchasing a product? I hope all. We do read the reviews from different e-commerce sites, Amazon, Flipkart, and many sites will refer. And based on the reviews from the customers, we will decide whether to go for this product or not for this product. So how a system can do this? The humans will read the review comments, but then we can employ a natural language processing system that can able to do this analysis in this e-commerce site. How we can employ this natural language processing such that it will read all the review comments, and then it will say whether the comment is positive comment or negative comment or neutral comment. So that it will read pages and pages, and it will say that this product is majority it is being recommended by the customer, or it is not recommended by the customer, or it is neutral comments. A system can be able to suggest you about the product in the e-commerce website. That's called sentiment analysis. We call it as a sentiment analysis. Okay. Then generally we will use this for reviewing a product on a web page. So this is a very, very key role of where we can use NLP, sentiment analysis. And even in Twitter, suppose you want to know whether your government is announcing a schema, for example, Agnipath. So immediately government is want to know whether how the public is reacting to the system. Or the demonetization. Immediately government want to know what is the response from that. People in due course of time, in 1 month or so, we can able to get the response through various sources. But once the schema is announced, immediately you want to have the response. Or a movie is being released. You want to know how the feedback about the movie is. So you can use the Twitter sentiment analysis. So people can tweet, and Twitter sentiment and the Twitter analysis is very, very popular, because in Twitter you cannot tweet more than prescribed words. So
Tyagarajan sir? Excuse me. Tyagarajan sir, you are muted. Now it is. Okay, sir.
When it got muted, sorry, I didn't figure it out.
Yes, sir.
It is long time back or just now?
No, just 1 minute back, sir.
Okay, thank
Not
you.
even
Thanks
1
for
minute.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't mute. Maybe from your end, you have to please check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
So Twitter sentiment analysis is very predominantly used by all agencies, whether respect to the e-commerce or with respect to the government, to have a quick analysis about the schema which they introduced. They use the quick sentiment analysis. Next, we have machine translation. So, nowadays, multilingual is one of the quality that any MNC is expecting, and people are expected to know the foreign languages. But then people to know quickly about learn about other languages, or to know, particularly if I have a word congratulations, I want to know how it is that in German. I can quickly go to the Google, and if I type English to German, and if I type congratulations in English, I can get what is there, it is in German or French. So again, for that, we'll use this machine natural language processing. And Google is predominantly, we have Google Translator. So in any language, if you want to convert a word or a sentence, it is possible. And for this language, multilingual language users on translation will use this in natural language processing. For example, I have translated from English to Kannada. This course on NLP is fascinating, and I'm going to explore it. So if you want to say that in Kannada, I used the Google Translator, which has taken about 0.3 seconds to translate this from English to the Kannada. To any language, it is possible. Again, for this translation, again, it uses NLP. What are the NLP steps? Lexical, syntactic, semantic, discourse, and pragmatic. So all the 5 steps has been used here to convert the English sentence to the Kannada sentence. Then one more application is the plagiarism reduction. So the plagiarism is a very, very main issue in research. Like whenever you're using referring to some research paper, we have to always give references. And without giving references, we cannot take the text in the paper. So in this plagiarism reduction, so how it will compare the source and the target, and it will check how much the article is very similar. So I have taken the source and I have taken the target, and I'm just comparing this both text, and it says 70% it is unique and 30% is different. To compare or to find the plagiarism, you always use this natural language processing. And the other applications where we use this NLP is like spam detection, parts of speech tagging, name entity recognition. So if we have an email, so email contains the main primary inbox, and it will also have the spam folder. So Gmail is a server which is having the intelligent mechanism to filter out whether email it should be in the inbox or it should be in the spam. How Gmail is doing it? Anyone have any idea? Whenever a mail comes to your email ID, the Gmail will figure out whether it should go to the inbox or it should go to a spam. How Gmail is differentiating whether it should go to the inbox or it go to the spam? What mechanism is involved in that process? Any idea?
Certain keywords, sir.
Yes, exactly. So what it will do, it will again apply the NLP techniques over there. So it will split the emails into the sentence into the words, and then it will do the syntactic analysis. Then it will fetch the words. And there are some bag of words that is very frequently used in the spam emails. So if most of the words in your email is matching with the spam email word, then we'll put the email in the spam. Okay. So again, the NLP comes into the picture there to segregate the emails from the spam as well as from the primary inbox. And second is the parts of speech tagging. I said this is deals with again the syntactic analyzer. The sentence will be split into adjective, nouns, and verb. That will be again done by the NLP as part of the NLP. And these are the parts of NLP. The parts of POS tagging and the name entity recognition are the subdivisions of natural language processing. And next, the last example, if you see, Instant met with UN officials in Princeton. So it will segregate who is Instant. So Instant is a person, UN is nothing but an organization, and Princeton is a location. This is called name entity recognition. This is again a part of NLP. So given a sentence, it will just tag what is it all about. As I said, sentiment analysis. So beast roasted chicken in San Francisco, best roast chicken in San Francisco. It's a positive comment. And the waiter ignored us for 20 minutes is a negative comment. So it will differentiate. This is a positive one, which is a negative comment. And co-reference resolution. For example, in this sentence, Carter told Mubarak he shouldn't run again. So in this sentence, what does the he refers to? Whether it refers who is he? So tell me now, Carter told Mubarak he shouldn't run again. What does he refers to? As a human being, we can able to interpret what is the he refers to here? He refers to whom, whether Carter or Mubarak? Students, please. Mubarak. We human beings can able to figure out what is the he refers to, but how computer can able to figure out? It's a very challenging issue in NLP. Okay, so again, to resolve this, we have the NLP and word sense disambiguation. I need new batteries for my mouse. Whether the mouse is refers to the computer mouse or the playing mouse. Again, that is very ambiguous. Again, we have methods in NLP to figure out this disambiguation. Again, for parsing, so to make sure whether the sentence is being syntactically correct, we always construct a parser, a lefty parser, a righty parser. Again, how we can construct the parser, we have a separate packages in NLP Python to parse that. And for machine translation and for information extraction, we all use NLP. This is again for question answering, we use this NLP. These are some of the advanced applications where we use this NLP. So now, having discussed the basic steps in NLP, terminologies in NLP, and we have discussed some of the applications of NLP, we'll just see what are the tools that is available in NLP. So we have this Apache Open NLP. We have Open Classes, DBpedia Spotlight. We have Natural Language Toolkit in Python especially. We have Spacey. We have Stanford Core NLP. These are some of the tools available, but now people majority use this Python NLT toolkit in Python for this natural language processing. Apart from this Python, we have other things which I mentioned. Until then, it is clear. Class?
Yes,
Okay. Just I will try to play a small video for you, which will quickly summarize what we discussed.
Short introduction to natural language.
Whether it is audible, video is visible?
yes,
Hello?
sir. Visible and audible, sir.
If you think machines learning from numbers is interesting, machines learning from words is even more interesting. Natural language processing is how computer programs are able to... Welcome to this short introduction to natural language processing. If you think machines learning from numbers is interesting, machines learning from words is even more interesting. Natural language processing is how computer programs are able to make sense of words and their surrounding context. For example, you could write a computer program to pick up on sarcasm, such as, "That's funny," not, or to understand, "The world will end," as an exclamation versus, "The world will end," as a question. But machines can't simply read and interpret language innately like we humans can. So how can machines understand sarcasm, or if a sentence is posed as a question, or even just find the main topic and recurring themes in the words? Well, they do this through the best means they can, through calculations. If there's one thing machines do very well, it's calculations. And so calculations on words and textual features is what allows machines to determine if a piece of text contains sarcasm, or if it's more negative than positive in its sentiment, or contains more rhetoric rather than factual statements, or is on this topic versus that topic. Counting the frequency of words and taking into account their surrounding context and then doing calculations is the basis of how machines make sense of natural language. So then, in order to count and calculate words and textual features, the raw text, or natural language itself, first needs to be processed in a way that allows machines to work with a more structured data format. This basically means cleaning up the text and then organizing it into tables of word counts across documents. It could also mean tabling pairs of words that occur together, taking into account the surrounding context of the words. Cleaning up raw text and organizing it into a table is absolutely an essential step in natural language processing. The word processing should be emphasized in natural language processing. Without processing, you're just left with natural language, which, as mentioned, machines cannot easily interpret like you and I. They need it to be processed first and then do calculations on it. Some key applications of natural language processing are categorizing text into negative or positive sentiment to automatically identify unsatisfied customers from satisfied customers, or categorizing text into topics to recommend articles on the same topic, or to answer user questions by retrieving relevant information in the documentation, or summarizing the most important information in lengthy documents. All these rely on a machine's ability to understand words and textual features. And that quickly sums up natural language processing.
Okay, that's a quick video on details about what we have discussed. And we will just proceed further. And we'll discuss. So these are the advantages of using NLP, and various applications are there, which will be very helpful for the humans in the daily activities. Though NLP is finding its applications in all walks of life, still NLP is considered to be one of the hardest topics. And here we have cited some of the reasons why NLP is hard. As I said, because of its ambiguity. I said for ambiguity, I have detailed a word. I detailed an example, right, for ambiguity. Yes, I need a new batteries for my mouse. So it's a word census ambiguation. So how we can able to handle the ambiguity in the natural language processing? It's one of the biggest problem. And variations, expressivity, unmodeled variables, and unknown representation are some of the biggest hurdle in NLP, or the challenges that we'll face when we are handling these NLP problems. So as I said, in ambiguity, we discussed at multiple levels. So bank, if I say a bank, it refers to the financial institution, or it refers to the river bank. And if you take the parts of the speech, if we have a chair, whether it is a noun or the verb, and in syntactic structure, I can see the ambiguity at different level. I can see a man with a telescope. So whether you have found a man with a telescope, or you have seen a map through a telescope, that's very ambiguous with respect to the syntactic structure. And last sentence, it is very different actually. I made her duck. So whether you made a dish out of duck, or you made her duck, so there are many meanings that can be interpreted from this sentence. So how this NLP is able to deal with kind of ambiguity? The ambiguity comes at different levels, from the syntactic analysis to the semantic analyzing. The ambiguity, you have to deal with it in NLP, and how we are going to tackle it such that the exact meaning in what context the human is talking about the sentence, it has to be figured out. So that's one of the biggest challenges. Next, variations I am discussing. So for example, if you want to parse a sentence, for example, there's a sentence here. So there's a much greater intersection and integration of how to engage with consumers. So if I apply this lexical analyzing, it will break the sentence into words, and then it will segregate whether it is a noun, verb, phrase. So to not to segregate these noun, words, and phrase, first of all, I should train this machine to understand the English language. And then I'm making the machine to understand the English language. That will be done with the help of many lexicon available. So the machine will then able to segregate whether it is noun or the verb. So, but then if we want to, now this is how, imagine that I have trained English model, English lexicon. I will be able to parse any given English sentences into noun, verb, and phrase. It will be dividing the sentence into words, and each word it will take and it will tag whether it is noun, verb, and phrases. Imagine that I'm giving a different language to that model, which will tag the particular word in English. Whether it will, instead of English, I'm giving now a Tamil sentence. If I give a Tamil sentence, then the model will not able to correctly tag it, because that model is designed especially for English language. As I said, each and every language will have a different grammar structure. If I train a model to tag for English, it will only do with English. If I want to do with Tamil, then I have to again train a model with the Tamil dictionary so that it can understand what is subject, what is verb, and what is an object. So there's variation is one of the biggest challenges in NLP. Next, expressivity. So not only one can form the different meaning, but the same meaning can be explained with different forms. I said in the video, the world will end. If you put question mark and if you put explanatory, that will convey a different meaning. So based on the expression terms, the expression notations, the sentence will convey the different meaning. So how we are going to deal with it? For example, you can take a couple of examples. She gave the book to Tom versus she gave Tom the book. Some kids popped up by and a few children visited. So if I say some kid popped up my room yesterday, so how computer will interpret? Human can easily figure out that some kids came to my room yesterday, but if you want to understand this sentence, some kids popped up by, so it will not understand how as we humans can able to understand things with respect to this sentence specifically. Next, is that window still open, or please close the window? So these are some of the expressivity is one of the biggest concern in NLP. Next, we have unmodeled variables. So I have a rabbit and I have an elephant. So I have this rabbit is less than an elephant. So how human beings we can able to understand, but imagine that you have this and how a computer will going to understand this. And a couple of examples like I dropped the glass on the floor and it broke. I dropped the hammer on the glass and it broke. So these are some of the examples of these unmodeled variables. An unmodeled representation, it's very difficult to capture what is, since we don't even know how to represent the human, how to represent the knowledge as human, what is the meaning of word or sentence, how to model the context or other knowledge. Because many of the things when the humans will always understand with respect to the context, unless otherwise this context has been very well explained to the system, we will not able to get the exact meaning. So we have to first of all understand, we have to infer the computer that I'm talking this passage is all about this context, so that the exact meaning can be derived. So again, that is the biggest challenge in NLP. So now have discussed about what are the basic terminologies in NLP. Then I have discussed about the various processing steps in NLP, and I have discussed various applications of NLP. So now a quick assignment for you is that this NLP can be applied in education field. There are plenty of applications. So now the time is 10:54. I will give you 6 minutes time until 11 o'clock. You please work out and come up with what are the different areas we can use this NLP in education sector. Audience, you please there. And am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are audible,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yeah. So may I kindly request the audience to kindly work on this problem. So now you understood NLP and you have seen I have listed many NLP applications. So now I'm giving you a domain. So the domain is education domain. In educational domain, 6 minutes time is given to you so that you figure out what are the ways we can apply this NLP in the education domain. 6 minutes time. So at the end of the 6 minutes, I will be asking a question. So you should be able to answer. Is that okay? Class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please work on this. Already I have discussed, I have given a clue on the applications where we can use the NLP in different applications I have just shared in the slides. So you can think in those directions and you have to list the applications where you can use the NLP in education domain. Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So I'll just keep the mic and please work out and I need an answer. Okay. Please work out. I hope you are working on this assignment. Any doubts you can ask me. I just want to list of places where we can apply this NLP in education sector. We have 3 minutes more. You have to tell a scenario and you have to tell how this NLP is going to work out in that scenario. I hope you're done. Can I have a response from few of the students?
So maybe for preparing notes for the students, like when faculties are teaching using NLP, automatically text will be generated and they get notes.
You're talking about how can I tell about the scenario? Like it will be placed in the class and this model will be able to generate the notes from the faculty instructions. You're talking in that
Yes,
sense?
sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's one good application. Thank you, ma'am. Shaleen Bhatkar, thank you. From student side, can I have some applications how it can be used in education sector? Yes, sir. Farouz, sir, please. Hello? Yeah, please. I just want to have few more inputs from your end so that I can discuss. Should I request the students to kindly share their ideas because this lecture is being mainly targeted for the students. I then will be happy that if we can share some of the applications where we can use this in education sector.
So maybe for language translation also. Like few students who don't very understand very well in English, something in their normal language also if they want.
Yes, we can do that. If someone is not well versed in English and then they can only understand their regional language like Tamil, then you can deploy this tool so that it will translate whatever you speak in English to Tamil so that they can easily understand the concepts. That's one of the applications. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Any other applications from others? So can you able to view my screen? My screen is visible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the possible applications like NLP writing. So you convert, as ma'am said, you can convert the voice note to the text. And one of the most beautiful application of this NLP, Grammarly, you know Grammarly tool, what for it is used?
For correcting grammar.
Yes. If you return an email and there is some grammatical error in the email, if you install this Grammarly, then it will correct. It will say that this is syntactically wrong. It will help us to frame the correct sentences. So what Grammarly uses internally is that it uses NLP. Okay, so it can be used for writing and it can be used for correcting the grammar mistakes. It can improve the reading skills with NLP in education. It can be NLP can also be helping to motivate the students. The motivation is a key factor for any learning. And if the students are correctly motivated, all the students are in par excel. Okay, so this NLP can also be used for motivating the students. How? Because imagine in class of 30, teacher will be given 1 hour for the subject per day. So for 1 hour, examining these 30 students will be very difficult. Okay, so if you deploy this NLP can able to understand, for example, NLP individually for a student, they can able to understand this learning speed of a student. And accordingly, it will try to simplify the passage or simplify the concept, and it can give the concept in such a way that the students of that particular caliber can able to understand the concept. So it also helps in motivating, like simplifying, text simplification. How well, say the students will be of different categories, bright students and mediocre students, average students, dull students. So based on this segregation of the students, this NLP can be deployed in such a way that they can simplify the text to their level, and then that can be given as a notes for the particular student so that they can understand the concept in that particular level. So motivating the students can be done using the NLP and question answering systems. Next, we have the Edu chat box. You know what is chat bot? Many of the e-commerce like banking and all nowadays, we have the chat box. Like if we take the CUB bank, we have Lakshmi chat bot. What does it do? You have any queries with respect to the CUB? If you ask that, Lakshmi will give a reply as if it will reply that human is interacting with us, but it is nothing but the computer. The computer will respond to your query. It will understand what you are typing, and in turn, it will reply what you were querying. Similarly, you can type the Edu chat box. For each and every subject which I'm teaching, I can develop Edu chat box so that students can anytime query in the chat box and they can get the reply from the chat bot. This chatbot can be developed. What is, again, for this developing this chatbot, we always require this NLP because it has to understand what the query is from the student and it has to reply to the query. These are possible applications. I'm not telling you all applications. These are the possible applications. When I take this case study and explored yesterday, and these are the possible applications that came into my mind. And there are many applications that you can think of. So it's time now. So the conclusion is that there are openings of many applications of NLP in education domain, not only with respect to the education domain. Given any domain, we have application of NLP it's abundant. So we will make this NLP specifically. I have taken the case study of educational sector. Why? Because if this is applied in the educational domain, it will make the learning better and comfortable for different kinds of learners. But then there's a wide application of NLP. I've taken only the education sector to understand and to stress the importance of this NLP. So for this presentation, I have extensively referred Coursera, Stanford, and NPTEL courses, data science, analytical vidya, and various sources from the internet. Thank you. If you have any queries, I'll be very happy to answer the queries. So over to the audience.
Dear participants, any queries?
Any queries?
Then what is stemming?
Stemming is like, for example, if stemming is like you have a word called care, C-A-R-E. Okay, caring is a derived word of care. Okay, so imagine that when you're doing this natural language processing, for example, this Twitter sentiment analysis, you will split the sentence into the word and will remove this ing from the word, the extra fittings from the word, so that the exact meaning can be conveyed. Okay, again, while using the stemming, whether we can use stemming for all the words, whether we can use this stemming or it is very limited to some words, it's again based on the application. For example, if you take the word caring, C-A-R-A-N-G. So if you do the stemming, what will happen? C-A-R-A-N-G, if you do the stemming, what will happen? Class. Caring. So remove this ing. If you remove this ing from the caring, what will happen? It will convey different meaning. It will convey car, which is not the meaning of caring. Caring is different and car is different. Okay, so stemming is again a subdivision. Is one of the portion of this NLP where you will figure out only the main words, and the attachment like ing, ed, er, like comparative degree, superior degree, everything will be removed, and you will have only a simple word, and that word will be used for extracting the meaning. And whether we can apply the stemming for all the words, again, that's a big question mark, because for example, I said the word carrying. If you apply stemming, it will be becoming car, which is a different meaning, and carrying is a different meaning. But removing this additional attached to a word and finding exact meaning of that word is known as stemming.
Okay,
and
sir,
you have to be
thank
very careful while applying stemming, because as I said, you have to be very careful with the wordings where you're applying the stemming. Majority will work, but sometimes it may lead to mislead the meaning too.
Thank you, sir.
Any other queries?
Sir,
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Sir, this is Fakhruddin here from CSC department. I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, do we have any algorithms, sir, in this NLP? Algorithms to implement, or using that algorithms we can convert from one language to another language like that? And the second one is that how we are going to relate this NLP with machine learning algorithms?
Machine learning, machine learning can be used. Machine learning algorithms can be used in NLP. We can say like NLP uses machine learning algorithms for many of its problems. Okay, we can say like NLP is a larger domain, and NLP uses machine learning algorithm to solve some of the problems. Okay, so both are all interrelated. All comes under the branch of artificial intelligence. So NLP for most of its application uses this machine learning to solve the problem. At the end, we will follow all the stages of NLP. We will follow all the stages of NLP. At the end, for finding out the solution for the problem, we can use this machine learning algorithms. I think that's the second question. Can you please repeat the first question?
That's what, sir. Like, yes, sir. That's what I asked. Like, what are the algorithms can be used? Like, we have CNN, ENN, KNN.
We can use all the algorithm machine learning algorithms can be used, but depends on the problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sir, one more thing.
Yeah.
As you explained, there are 5 steps of this NLP, right? Lexical, yes. Syntax, and semantics.
Yes.
And at the end, there are 2 points for there. Can you just could you please repeat it, sir? Another
discourse. One second. Discourse and pragmatic analysis. Discourse integration and pragmatic analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in discourse integration, the meaning of any sentence, we cannot, it is not standalone. We have to understand the prefix sentence. We have to understand the passage as a whole, then we can able to find what is the exact meaning of a sentence. The meaning of any sentence not only depend on that, it also depends on the sentence which is attached previously to the sentences. It's called discourse integration. And next we have this pragmatic analysis. Pragmatic analysis, I have said, it concerns how sentences are used in different situations and how use affects the interpretation of the sentences and what context it has been used. That's called pragmatic analysis. Hello.
Okay,
so
sir. Thank you.
You got the difference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, how NLP is used for the application, sir?
What application, ma'am?
In what kind of applications we can use NLP?
I've just discussed in many applications, like varying from translation to education sector. I've listed many applications, question answering system, summarization. Okay, summarization is one of the, again, biggest applications of this NLP. See, I have discussed many applications. Like if you have a locked document, imagine you have a legal document case. Imagine that there's any case in the court. If there is a verdict, the verdict will be of 100 pages. Okay, so but then to read 100 pages will be very difficult. The summarization you can use as NLP techniques to summarize these 100 pages into 20 pages. For that we can use this NLP. We're preparing an abstract for a given document, we can use NLP. Many applications I have discussed. One of the applications which is not mentioned is that summarization, text document summarization. It's one of the biggest application where you can use this NLP. It can able to consolidate the message which is said in 100 pages. It can able to constrain that to 20 pages. That's the biggest advantage. Without the intervention of the human, machine itself can do it. Text document summarization or legal document summarization. That's another application where it can be used in legal domain, law domain.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Is there any possibility to translate language from brainwaves, like a Stephen Hawking's?
No, that is not. We will not deal with that.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions? So even if you have any questions, you will just put my you can get me email ID from Radha Ramohan sir, and you can have a word with me. I will type. I may request Radha Ramohan sir to share my email ID with the participants so that if they have any questions, they can email, and we'll be very happy to answer their questions. And over to the organizer, please. Thank you all for the passionate listening. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, sir, for answering all the queries patiently. Now I request Shalin madam to present vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shalin Bhatnagar, IEEE Student Branch Counselor, Presidency University, and it is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks for this webinar. I, on the behalf of IEEE Student Branch, Presidency University and Department of Computer Science and Engineering, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our expert speaker for today's session, Dr. P. Thiagarajan sir. We are really enlightened with your knowledge, and it was very meaningful session. We all learned a lot about NLP. Thank you very much, sir. We are thankful to our Honorable Chancellor, sir, Mr. Nisar Ahmed, sir, Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. Subhakar, Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. N.T. Rao, Registrar, sir, Dr. Biren Moiddin, for their motivation and support. I will also wish to express my gratitude to Muhammad Samiruddin Khan, sir, Dean, School of Engineering, School of Computer Science and Information Science, and Dr. C. Kalairasan, sir, Associate Dean, Computer Science and Engineering, for providing their continuous guidance, support, and giving us the opportunity to organize these events. A special thanks to Dr. Radha Ram Mohan sir, Coordinator for Professional Society, and Mohammad Muzir sir, and the entire organizing committee for unflinching support and the coordination. Thank you, Preeti ma'am, also for being a wonderful anchor. Last but not the least, our heartfelt thank for all the participants for their active participation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. So
Thank
I have
all.
shared.
Thank you.
I have
Should I
shared the
leave?
feedback. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. So I'll be sharing the feedback link through your mail, and I have also posted in chat box. I think it is not accessible.
Yes, ma'am. Nothing came in chat box.
Okay. I'll share through mail, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.